Hello everyone, this is Father the Everchosen, back in Total War Warhammer 2, bringing you another quick battle. This time pitting my Beastmen up against my opponent's High Elves. First off, I'd like to say sorry that I did not put out a video yesterday. The time kind of got away from me and I was busy elsewhere, but hopefully getting 2 videos this Wednesday will make it up to you. So quickly, running down my army, we'll go over here. First, I've got 2 Centaurs with throwing axes deployed up over here on this corner, just in case my opponent had deployed in those woods. I've got 2 sets of Harpies, one of them triple bronze chevron, one double bronze chevron. I'm also running 2 Razor Gore herds and a Cygor off on my right flank. My main line is 4 Gore herds with shields, the Blackhorn Ravager Gore herd with shield, Regiment of Renown, and 2 Ungor Spearman herds with shields. And then I'm bringing Morgur with his rod, or the stave of ruinous corruption, and a Bray Shaman of the Wild with Vile Tide and Savage Dominion. My opponent, deployed off on this side, has 2 Warlines of Trace, triple bronze chevron. He also has a single single silver chevron Warline of Trace deployed behind his main line. His main line is consisting of 4 regular spearmen, 2 rangers, the Evercourt Queen Guard Sisters of Avalorn Regiment of Renown, a regular archer, and then he has an Eagle Claw bolt thrower, and he is bringing a noble, a handmaiden of the Everqueen, and an Archmage of Life with Flesh to Stone, Regrowth, Dwellers Below, and Earthblood. So we're going to jump into this. And right off the bat, I see that my opponent doesn't have much deployed over here. My opponent starts opening up with all of his archer fire. He's going to focus on these Blackhorn Ravagers real quick. But I start pulling all my forces in. So my Centaurs are going to come in, and then my Harpies and my Razor Gores. My Cygor is going to stay back and start throwing rocks right from the get-go. And if you've seen me play with the Beastmen before, my Bray Shaman's going to activate that Jagged Dagger, getting his power reserve up the few points that it needs to be so he can summon a Cygor early doors. Because when you summon it early, you're going to still hit these big chunky blocks versus just piecemeal at the end. So the order for my line to come forward has been issued, and as you can see, the Blackhorn Ravagers are just getting melted, which, you know, focusing on them is probably a good thing, but it leaves the rest of my army pretty much untouched. And we start the engagement. Unfortunately, Morgur is not able to be Vanguard deployed, so he is behind and not able to support the Blackhorn Ravagers against these nobles. But this Cygor starts getting throws in early doors, hitting the Everqueen Court Guard. My other Cygor has gotten some throws in. Unfortunately, this last throw hit me more than my opponent. I get a nice Vile Tide over here, disrupting the archers, shutting them off for a second here. And now Morgur is engaged with this fancy noble here. Morgur is not the greatest duelist, but he does have the ability to regenerate, and he's just going to sit here and keep that noble in place. I've got my Bray Shaman of the Wilds back here taking on the Archmage of Life and the Everqueen's Court Guard. This Cygor back here, all 24 of those kills are littering the ground right here. I do manage to get my Stave of Ruinous Corruption to shut down this Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower, and which is really good because it was starting to really hamper my infantry. That last throw by this Cygor doesn't amount to much, and he will end up dropping with just those 24. The Eagle Claw Bolt Thrower transforms into my second unit of Chaos Spawn, so they're taking up this middle spot. But right now, the balance of power is in my favor. I think mainly because of this Cygor summon, but the infantry fight is not going very well, at least for me. A lot of my units have routed, but I've got these Harpies in the air, got my Razorgores slowly but surely engaging, and the Centaurs are now in place to start throwing their axes into the back of high-value targets, and I'm definitely making sure that these Everqueen Court Guards do not come back, so the Bray Shaman of the Wild is taking care of that. Morgar still dueling the Noble in here. Morgar's pretty hurt, but again, he's going to be able to regenerate, and he's tying down this Noble for a long stretch of time. My opponent decides to engage the Chaos Spawn rather than just continuing to let the archers shoot it. And truthfully, he probably should have. I wasn't paying attention in this area at the moment, so he probably would have been able to take them down. Like I said, that Cygor is now gone. My other Cygor is up to 35 kills, which is good. I did pull this Ungor Spearman herd over here, and I'm going to keep it over here for the time being, keeping my Cygor safe. Got Razorgores and Harpies taking down some of these routing units. Again, Razorgores taking out the Rangers, and Everqueen Court Guard are all either dead or have routed. The Bray Shaman of the Wild is now able to come back. And at this point, the Archmage of Life is getting riddled with axes. But she's got some nasty surprises of her own coming here pretty soon. And if you've watched me, you know sometimes my micro isn't the greatest. And I was focusing elsewhere, making sure the Cygor moved up. And I do get a nice Vile Tide here on the archers, but she is going to get a devastating Dwellers Below right here, ripping apart many of my Centaurs, which they are a very valuable part of my army, and thus dragging the balance of power back towards the High Elves. I'm still eking them out in number of troops on the battlefield, and I've still got some relatively healthy units. You know, looking around, both Razorgores are pretty good. This Harpy's very good. Of course, I have a fully healed Cygor. Morgar is in here against the Noble, and like I said, the Noble does pretty well against Morgar. He's not the greatest duelist, but slowly Morgar does eventually pull ahead, losing quite a bit of health, though, in the process. The infantry fight on my left flank is completely gone. I only have a very small smattering of infantry troops left, and at this point, any troops that come back will be regrouping right here by the golden pillar, protecting the Cygor, and we'll regroup around here. But slowly but surely, being able to whittle things down. The Bray Shaman of the Wild is up to 38 kills, and I'm just having him pick off high-value targets in the archers. The Handmaiden is almost out of arrows. She has done quite a bit of damage to the Bray Shaman, but only 16 kills have come out of it. But she has enhanced her other archers with all the items she brings. This Razorgore is going to take out this Ranger, and this Razorgore is going to engage are going to get intercepted, I believe, by the Archmage of Life, though I wish for them to take out these archers. Slowly but surely getting routing units back, and as you can see, Morgar did eventually break. A devastating rock coming in from that Cygor into this nice chunk of enemies. The Noble down pretty low on health. Morgar does come back, and like I said, everything is going to regroup around this Cygor, who is launching a rock, I believe, right here. Bray Shaman is wavering. I'm going to get him out of there. I need his magic. And Vile Tide is a semi-expensive spell, but right now, trying to save up just in case I do need another Cygor summon. Can put it into a melee fight, and it will do just fine. So 59 kills. Nice rock hit right here in this huge chunk of infantry, doing a devastating amount of damage. We went from 59 up to 79, so 20 kills. That is why I love the Cygor, especially if you can protect it. That was part of the reason I had deployed the Harpies over here, just in case I needed to get it some cheap, expendable protection. But all in all, my Harpies have actually done quite well. This one at 25 kills, the other one over here with only one, but still on the battlefield. And again, coming to regroup over near our big Cygor. We've got our Razorgores, both of them rampaging. Unfortunately, this archer, which was originally supposed to be targeted by this Razorgore, is still active, thus allowing it to pick up kills. But I will be pulling these Centaurs over and the other Centaurs that have come back, trying to get rid of the archers. Those, at this point, are the biggest threat. The Noble has 245 hit points. The Archmage of Life is almost dead, and the Handmaiden is at full health, but I don't believe the Handmaiden would be able to take the Cygor on in a fight. But still, some very healthy Warlions of Trace have decided to come and play. I put Morgar out front so that he can take the charge, and I get that Call of Violence down, keeping their leadership high enough, and I get a nice rear charge from my Harpies in here, trying to get them gone, and the Brave Shaman of the Wild coming in here as well to help out. 100 kills up on the Cygor now, and he's still going strong. He's still got about 10 more rocks to throw. My Razorgores over here do come back, and at this point, my opponent's archers are now off the battlefield. I'm able to slowly trickle troops in and get them to this defensive position on this elevated ground. Another rock coming in here. Let's see if we pick up any kills. Unfortunately, we do not. Another rock wasted, but it does trigger a leadership penalty for being fired upon. So keeping units gone is very important as well. Not that these spearmen are going to do a whole lot, even if they had gotten to the battlefield. But doing well. We got our Razorgores coming back in. These Harpies are going to chase down the Warlions, which have racked up 65 kills, which is unfortunate for us. And we've got now our Centaurs are coming back. Devastating throw at that Spearman, picking up 11 more kills. And at this point, my opponent really only has a piecemeal amount of troops, and for some reason is sending them at me piecemeal rather than waiting for everything to be together. Now, I know the Cygor would be getting kills, but he could always check and see it's got 6 kills. You deploy in long, thin lines. It's not going to be as effective as early doors if you were to blob up. These Warlions need to get pulled out, and again, he starts to reposition, allowing me to pick up 4 more kills. And this is the worst angle that you ever want to stand in when you've got a Cygor, because if this rock were to come and hit this Spearman right here, it's going to take out this giant chunk of 10, and putting them both together, yeah, I mean, it's just like if you had an amber spear going down the side, you know, it's going to be devastating. So 15 kills. I've got everything starting to slowly regroup. Those White Lions were chased off, which is good. They were the single silver chevron. 15 up to 16, so 1 more kill. But every shot is making them waver more and more. You know, you go check that leadership. Damaged by artillery, minus 10 leadership. This one. Leadership. Damage sustained. So since they're sustaining that damage, they're taking that minus 10 penalty to leadership, which is quite significant, especially late if you want to keep your units on the field. But looking at my opponent now, for some reason, he has decided, like I said, to send things piecemeal. So these Warlions would be great. They've already got 108 kills, which is excellent. They're close to getting another chevron, and they've got other Warlions that are at 101 kills, again, close to a silver chevron, but you're not deploying them together. So they get surrounded. Morgar is going to lower their leadership even more. So taking a peek at these War Lions. Let's see if we can. There we go. So leadership. Damage sustained, Lord dead, exposed flank. So they're taking a minus 52. Now their flank might have been secured by these other War Lions. You've got Morgar in here inflicting poison. The Bray Shaman is able to cycle charge, and we're going to get charged in the rear by the Harpies. These Spearmen, again, you don't want to group them all up, but you march them in a long, straight line and then send them forward. They're going to be better because they can encircle, their flanks will be secure, and keeping them near the Handmaiden will also, since she has encouraged, keep them together. So, a bit of a misstep here. Not that I think he could have pulled it back. I mean, this Cygor still has, it's still at full health. And Morgar, I believe, still has more to, yeah, he still has almost 2,000 hit points to regenerate. And the Bray Shaman's not doing bad and still has Winds of Magic to spare. So that charge in the rear makes them shaken, and they melt. So now they're gone, they break, and the next War Lions come in. Get Call of Violence active. And these War Lions now are going to have to retreat. I got my Razor Gores in here. We're going to make sure things stay gone. I've got Centaurs back here throwing axes still. Another rock coming through. Now we're up at 122 kills. And now everything starts to break and retreat. And I've got enough fast-moving units to keep everything gone. Charged by the Bray Shaman breaks these spears, or well, makes them wavering, and then the Harpies will break them. Devastating rock yet again. 5 more kills for the Cygor. Keeping those spearmen gone, they break. And now, since I have everything pretty much broken and gone, I've got Centaurs chasing everything down. I've still got one more shot from my Cygor. And really at this point, the only thing my opponent has is a spearman that's broken, and in theory could come back. The War Lions of Trace, which are at 121 kills, and still in there pretty good with leadership, and a Handmaiden at almost full health, going up against Morgar, some Harpies, but this Cygor with full health, and the magic that I still have from the Bray Shaman. Bray Shaman comes in, knock that Handmaiden back, and another devastating rock that takes me up another 10 kills. And the Cygor now decides to march into combat. First thing he does, stomps on a kitty, and takes it out. Nothing like stepping on the little dog under your feet. So that's Cygor picking up a kill in melee. But unfortunately, Morgar does break and starts to retreat, though Morgar has 39. The Handmaiden is at 40. Morgar, for some reason, is able to get away from her and actually increases the distance between them, which to me doesn't make any sense because he's exhausted, she's only very tired, and she's confident she has a higher speed, and she has, what is that, Foe Seeker? Yeah, so she could be increasing her speed and her vigor, and I don't have anything like that on Morgar, so I don't know why he gets away from her. And the Cygor actually does not catch her because it is slower, but as you look, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they just stay equidistant, but she should be gaining on them. But my Bray Shaman ends up coming back after breaking, and I get just enough Winds of Magic after triggering the Jagged Dagger, and I get another Cygor summon. And at this point, the balance of power is, they've got one unit. I've got my Centaurs, my Harpies, the Bray Shaman. Morgar, I do believe, could have come back. He doesn't get the chance because the battle's about to end. But this Cygor summon, even though it'll only be here for a few seconds, is enough to send the Handmaiden down. And Army Lash's trigger, and the battle ends. A valiant fight by my opponent. And an interesting one, pitting the Beastmen, which are often thought of as a very weak and poor faction versus the High Elves, which are a very versatile and very strong faction. But even looking, at the end, I lost more troops than they did, but I did have more remaining, though, because I deployed more in the end. But looking through my army, what was effective? Mortar, of course, was effective. The Brave Shaman, extremely effective, 75 kills, being able to charge into the back line, getting those 2 Cygor summons, the one racking up 24 kills, the other just helping to break at the end. I wasn't expecting much out of the Ungor Spear Herd, or truthfully the Gore Herd. Everything was supposed to really come down to my cavalry and the Cygor. But they held long enough. The only thing, the Blackhorn Ravagers ended up getting nuked by the Everqueen Court Guard and the Archers, but the Everqueen's Court Guard only ended up getting 25 kills, and that is like an 1100 cost unit, taking out, I think the Blackhorn Ravagers are like a 700 point unit. So was it a decent enough trade? I mean, they would have been pretty devastating in melee, but the Everqueen Court Guard, if they would have been pulled away and maybe focused on the Cygor or something, could have been better. Centaurs both racking up in the 40s of kills, doing good, helping to bring down the Archmage of Life and keep routing units gone. Very good. 39 kills on this Harpy, which it came with the 3 experience chevrons, but Harpies typically are not that wonderful, and these Harpies were not just chasing down routing units. These ones were actively fighting. 3 on the other Harpy, that is more what I expect. You normally send in Harpies to tie down the Archers or something, but I'm very, very happy with the 39. And 63 and 74, respectively, for my Razor Gore Herd, one of which picked up a chevron. Very helpful. And, of course, the unit that pretty much won it for us, the 137 kills from this Cygor, which that was why I kind of offset my army. If they had deployed directly in front of the Cygor, I could have retreated with him, or I could have gotten maybe a few shots off and then retreated, curling around my army. But since they had all deployed in front of the rest of my infantry, he was getting nothing but just side shots on my opponent. And they lost 692, and he got 137. I think that's close to maybe a sixth of their 692. Or no, it would be 137 divided by 692 is 0.1979. So close to a fifth of their total, which is very good, very helpful. Going and looking at my opponent real quick. Spearmen, one of the best early tier units in the game. Only really, I would say, outclassed by like Saurus, but 89 kills, very good. 42, 32, 1, obviously not very good. Rangers, a very good new addition to the game. 52 kills on these Rangers, very good. I think these Rangers ended up suffering from a rock to the side. Archers could have done better, especially the Everqueen Court Guard. 25 kills, not really what you wanted to see, but the War Lions did very good. And actually, the one that he put more money into did less, but adding all these up, these were the bread and butter for them. That's 200 and one sec. Doing math real quick. 9 and 23 is 32. Yeah, so 297 kills between those 3 units. That's like roughly almost a third of my my total army killed just by these War Lions. A very good new addition to the High Elf roster. So I think Merle Dog the Third. Yeah, Merle Dog the Third for an admirable fight, a fun fight, and hopefully you all enjoyed this, I'm going to quickly look at those Everqueen Court Guard just to have a little comparison for us. So the Blackhorn Ravagers are a 750 point unit, and the Everqueen Court Guard are a 1400. So almost double, and you only got 25 kills out of them. So I think it's always a good trade. The only thing, and maybe you guys will have some idea or some opinion on it, and if you do, please comment below, and I'd love to hear. Would you say that Veiltide or Viletide is a better spell to take than Bray Scream? I know Viletide has a farther range, but it also costs 2 more Winds of Magic and has a longer cooldown. Bray Scream is also better against armor, so I don't know. I always wonder whether an upcast, it's only costs exactly as much as Viletide. It has the range. Now it has the miscast chance, and as for Viletide, then it gets the armor piercing, but it costs, again, a further 2 more. So if you have an opinion on that, whether Bray Scream or Viletide is the better spell to bring, or whether you think screw them both, just take Savage Dominion and then and the Jagged Dagger, saving yourself what Viletide 70 and Bray Scream is 69. So saving yourself that extra, for me, 70 gold. Is it worth it, or is it better to take that and have just an extra utility spell? So if you have an opinion on that, leave a comment down below. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I have been Father of the Everchosen.